Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, Roku's fixing one of its most annoying little quirks that a lot of people hate, finally getting fixed. ESPN's new streaming service has a few more details out. Some good, some maybe not so good. And DirectTV and DirectTV Stream may soon lose ESPN. That clock is ticking away very fast, and the deadline's coming soon. We'll tell you what's happening in these stories and a whole lot more coming up in a minute. First, though, if you want to read these stories and come up with your own opinions, I'll put a link to each story down below and in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. You can read them there and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts with that. Also, if you like what we do here, consider hitting that subscribe button. Consider hitting that thumbs up. Let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so YouTube recommends our videos to more people. It really does help us. With that said, let's dive into it. Now, one of the things Roku owners love most is that Roku City screensaver. It's a screensaver of a fictional city full of all kinds of movie and television references and now ads. Well, some of these ads scroll by the front and promote different streaming services, movies, televisions, and underneath it is a little icon where if you hit the play pause button, it will launch that app, that movie, the whatever is being promoted. Problem is, a lot of people hit the play button thinking they're going to relaunch the movie or television show they're watching, and instead they get the ad. They exit out of their movie, exit out of their app, whatever it may be, and they lose it. You actually have to hit the back button. Well, Roku is testing right now, changing that to the asterisk key, the menu key on your Roku, that little asterisk key there. That now will launch the ad. The play button will resume whatever you were watching. I think this is a great feature. For some reason, Roku is just beta testing this right now. It's only available on some Roku devices. None of mine happened, but I've had multiple readers send me screenshots showing it on their Roku. Hopefully this rolls out to more. It's nice to see Roku listening to user feedback that they didn't like that's something they didn't appreciate, and making changes with it to be more user-friendly. Now, I'm sure Roku, for them, I'm sure, the play button opens the ad more. Maybe they like that more. I don't know. But for the user, it wasn't a great experience. Again, don't know when this will roll out to everybody. Don't know if it will. Roku sometimes tests these things for a week or two and then rolls out to everybody. Sometimes it takes months. Sometimes they test it and then never do it. I think this one will roll out eventually to everybody. All right, ESPN's standalone streaming service was announced last year. It will allow you to stream all the ESPN channels for a flat monthly rate without anything else. A la carte TV, or a step closer. Well, ESPN had their media days yesterday where their executive chair got up there and answered questions of the media about the future of ESPN, talked about a whole bunch of things, including the new streaming service. A few things that were interesting there. The first thing being that ESPN could become the new regional sports networks. Bally Sports and others are struggling. ESPN for sometimes has reportedly been looking at launching a partnership to take over local broadcasts of NBA, NHL, and MLB games. Well, according to them, this app will be able to do that streaming online, where it'll be able to geolocate you to see if you're inside the correct market to watch a particular sport channel. And with that, they will stream to you. For example, if you live in Michigan and the Detroit Tigers or maybe NBA, the Pistons are there, they will then stream that on the app for where you live. If you live in Texas, you won't get those games. It's basically turning ESPN into a regional sports network run by ESPN with all the same issues of that, but streamed through the ESPN app instead. The other thing is, he came out and said that they were going to price this at a point where they won't care if you cancel cable and switch over to this because they'll make the same amount of money. One of the things Disney has said is they priced Disney Plus and others too cheap at the beginning. They were more interested in attracting new subscribers than they were at actually making it affordable to run. And they don't want to make that mistake, it seems like, with this. Now, pricing rumors have been anywhere from $20 to $30. I suspect about $25 to $30 is more realistic. Many others have said that too. It seems like that'll be true. Now, ESPN gets about $9 and change per subscriber for its channels from cable. But you're forgetting all the other Disney channels that they make money on. You're paying for cable to get ESPN, but you're also getting FS1, or excuse me, not FS1, that's Fox. FXX is what I was thinking of. The Disney Channel, Freeform, and others, Well, you add that all together, they're getting probably $20 or more. And now Disney says, hey, if you cancel Comcast to get this, or you cancel YouTube TV to get this, I'm losing a bunch of money from all those other channels. I need to count that into the price of this service. I think it'll be wildly successful at about $20, but we'll see what happens here. The new Venue Sports service is going to come out, if it ever does launch, in the low $40 range. I think that they would be wise to try to keep this around $20 if they have any hope of it being successful. We'll see. But it seems like they are looking at pricing this on the higher end. That's all speculation. We know that they want to be profitable. We'll see what the pricing is when it ever is announced. Reports are it will launch in 2025. All right, we talked about this over the weekend, but we're getting closer to the DirectTV and DirectTV Stream's deadline to strike a new deal with Disney, speaking of Disney, or they will lose ESPN, speaking of ESPN. With this, they have until September 1st, so Sunday, to strike a new deal, or they'll go dark. Now, college football fans, good news, Saturday games would air, but the Sunday night, Monday night games would not if this happens. Of course, you have many options to stream ESPN now, you can temporarily do. With this, though, DirectTV is pushing to get a deal in place to be able to watch or to do smaller packages is what I mean. They wanted more flexibility, a lot of what many people are saying. Will Disney agree to it? Spectrum was able to get Disney agree to some conditions, drop some channels, make some changes, but that resulted in a rather long blackout for such an important large channel. Could DirectTV be seen the same? Last time they renewed this in 2019, it came down to the wire, and it was kind of funny watching them do the competing messages and actually try to cover up the others' messages on the screen. It was quite funny. But I'm interested to see what happens here. The world of just raising the price of TV and accepting what networks want is gone. Networks are having a hard time accepting that. DirectTV knows if they raise the price too high, it will just exacerbate the number of people canceling and leaving, causing them even more trouble. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. It all play out and work. But for now, I think we're probably looking at a blackout. If I had to say pick one, I would probably lean it more likely than not we'll see a blackout here. Now, I don't think that's forever. I just think that's part of a negotiation tactic. We'll see what happens. All right, Local Now, the free streaming service, added 2 new channels. This comes as they recently added a ton of BBC content. Local Now added 48 hours and declassified 24/7 channels to their free ad-supported streaming service. A really great one. A lot of content there. Check it out if you have not. Local Now, available on many popular streaming players. Speaking of free streaming players, TCL TV Plus, the new free streaming service available on Roku and select Google TV devices, plus mobile devices, is adding some new channels, including the Waypoint TV channel. Check it out. This is from TCL. We reviewed it recently. It's not a bad streaming service, not a great streaming service. Check it out. They're adding more content. And Spectrum has filed a complaint with the Better Business Bureau's National Advertising something or other. NAD is what it works. Long history of Better Business Bureau, independent group. So what's happening here is Spectrum's parent company, Charter, has filed a complaint saying that Verizon's 5G home internet advertising is misleading. One of the complaints I thought was kind of funny was they were saying, well, because they're advertising as 5G, people are going to think it's 5 gigs. And I've always, because Comcast advertises their 10 gig service as 10G. Now, they've actually received complaints arguing that, hey, you're making it sound like this is 10 times better, technology-wise than 5G. I think 5G is pretty well understood in the market, and the NAD group agreed that there's no need to change that. Now, they did argue a few things. First of all, they asked for changes related to unlimited data. Well, there's no data cap. You could suffer, or no data cap that charges you money or cuts you off. You could see your speed reduced if you're a heavy user during prime time. I hear very few people complain about that, though. I don't think it happens that often, but it could happen. And there were a few other changes they asked for, but most of the complaints, I found it interesting that the NAD kind of said, hey, Spectrum, your complaints don't hold water. We're not going to do it. This comes as 5G home internet services are adding hundreds of thousands of subscribers in the first half of 2024, as many cable companies lose subscribers, including Spectrum and Comcast. This comes as I talked about many times. Cord cutting 2.0. Cord cutting 1.0 was canceling the TV side of cable. 2.0 is canceling the internet side and moving to other services. So we'll wait and see what happens. But very interesting to see a growing trend of this back and forth, that they're taking this, I think, a little bit more seriously than they did cord cutting 1.0, because I think they learned their lesson that, hey, with 1.0 we dismissed it. By the time it was taken seriously, it was way too late to try to do anything about cord cutting 1.0. I'll be interested. Anybody here a cord cutter 2.0? Have you canceled your cable internet, switched to fiber, satellite, 5G, so many other options? It's not just about 5G home internet. It's about all the new options out there for home internet that weren't. Now, I know not everybody has options, but you'd be surprised a growing number of people have new options. And of course, pretty much everywhere now, SpaceX is available, and next year, Starlink's internet service, or excuse me, Starlink, Amazon's home internet service from space will also be available. We'll see what happens. Well, that's it for today. Take care. Be safe. I'll be back again tomorrow. And if, real quick, if you're heading out for an extended Labor Day and you're going to be gone on Friday or tomorrow, take care. I'll see you all on Tuesday. No video on Monday. Take care, everybody.